Hello there. So today I'm going to talk to you about teeth. I've been doing some research about teeth, and one of the things I've discovered, now everyone knows what I'm going to say first of all, there's this problem with plaque, and plaque is bacteria in the mouth. And what happens, it builds up on the teeth, and eventually, particularly through eating sugary foods, the tooth becomes decayed. It's actually sugary and acidic things that do this. So that's the basic story we all know, but here's the new information which I'm very excited about, especially being a microbiologist. So what I've discovered is that what plaque actually is one particular bacteria, and this bacteria is called Streptococcus mutans. And what Streptococcus mutans does, it does what all bacteria do. They basically are very good at reproducing, and they, from one bacteria you get two, and then more and more and more. Now the way these streptococci are organised, when you get one little cell, it divides into two, and then it's two, they form chains. So these streptococci form chains on the teeth, and it's a whole conglomeration of massive amounts of these chains, which is actually what the plaque is. Now the question that's always been in my mind is, why is it that some people don't seem to bother to go to the dentist, have no trouble with their teeth, and don't have any fillings? They seem to be a minority, and the majority of people go to dentists regularly. They have fillings and more fillings and hygienist appointments, and it's all a real mess. So I was incredibly excited to come across two alternative dentists. One is Dr. Ellie. Now she actually managed to get hold of information going all the way back to the 1960s. It seems in London in the 1960s there's a really revolutionary approach to dentistry, and it's been suppressed for the usual reasons. It wasn't making money, but it was very good for people's health. And I've come across much more recent dentists who have also stumbled across the same thing and are spreading the word. So then I came across a short which put it into very simple perspective. In order to stop the plaque, which is the primary cause of all decay in the teeth, what we need to do is we need to eradicate, we need to kill Streptococcus mutans. That's what we need to do. Now this is a really strange way of going about it, because this is something that people can buy in the health food shops, and it's called xylitol. Now xylitol is a sugar alcohol. There are lots of these: sorbitol, mannitol, inositol, erythritol, and this one is called xylitol. And when you read the packet, it sounds like it's very cool because it comes from birch trees and beech trees, the sap from those things. But clearly it's a white powder, so it looks just like refined sugar. And here's the thing. What I've got here in my hands is the answer to a mouth which is full of plaque caused by Streptococcus mutans. And the only reason why this works is because there's something I'll tell you about in a little while. So what I've got here is I've got myself a little beaker, and I'm going to put a very particular amount. I'm going to use a heaped teaspoon of this, into the beaker, and then I'm going to add water to 200 millilitres. Now that is enough for me for the entire day. I'll dissolve it by warming the container slightly and stirring it. I'll put it into a bottle, and then wherever I go I take the bottle with me. So the idea is this: whenever I eat anything, when I've finished eating, I'm not cleaning my teeth like I used to do. What I'm doing is I'm swigging the xylitol mouthwash, swishing it around in my mouth, leaving it in my mouth for a few minutes. This is what it does. This is a very interesting thing about xylitol. It seems that the Streptococcus mutans, the bacteria in my mouth, cannot feed from the xylitol. It tries, and it actually can't metabolize it. And this is a really interesting clue about the true nature of xylitol, which is going to become quite a rabbit hole, as you're going to see in a moment. So this mouthwash, swill it around the mouth. I wasn't doing this for the first week and I got into problems, so pay very close attention. You swish it around in your mouth for a few minutes and you spit it out. Very important detail, spit it out. So if I do that, after I've eaten any food, then what I'm doing is I'm taking the really nice sugars from the honeys and the fruits and the vegetables and the things I eat. I've washed those out of my mouth and I've replaced it with this xylitol, and the bacteria can't digest it, so it starves. So for 2 weeks now, I've been slowly starving the bacteria in my mouth to death. Now, this isn't the easiest thing to do, and I'll be honest with you, I have a very low grade awareness of something going on in my mouth, and it's not very nice, it's not very pleasant, because actually we're all one. So I actually, on a very low level, feel the distress of the dying Streptococcus mutans. That's a pretty strange situation to get into. And the short film I saw, they suggested do this for a month. So here's the interesting side effect from all this. Am I having any snacks these days? Oh, of course I'm not, because it makes my life far too complicated. So I'm only eating meals for this duration, and eat a really good meal, maybe 2 or 3 courses, and then as soon as I've finished, give them a good swill. If there's a situation I'm having, like my special drinks in the morning, my thyme and my ginger and turmeric and honey drink, and also my rosehip capsule and honey drink, when I finish those drinks, I'll have a swig of the xylitol mouthwash immediately after the drink. I don't want to give those bacteria any food, because if I do, I'm going to slow the process down. So they suggest to do this for a month. I think I might possibly go a little bit more. I might go for 40 days like I do with the mantras. Give it really plenty of time. And then, ideally what you would do is you'd have an appointment with your hygienist if you have one. I certainly have one. Well, what's going to be really interesting is when my hygienist sees me after I've done this protocol. Because after I've done this protocol, if all the Streptococcus mutans have been killed, what is then going to happen completely naturally and organically without me doing anything about it? All the friendly bacteria in my microbiome are going to notice, hey, the oppressive being that's been taking part of the body away from us has gone. Quick, let's recolonize. They're going to recolonize my mouth. And then that will put me into a situation I will not be creating any more tooth decay. Ever. Very exciting journey I'm on. So in the course of all this, I started to do a little bit of researching and mostly listening to other people. And this is what I found out about xylitol. It's a sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohols are used as a sugar replacement for diabetics. Now, I've known about these for a very long time. I came across sorbitol in my 20s and I had this instant feeling, no, wrong, don't do it. And I had a few things that were made, because the diabetic industry, you can imagine it's a big profit-making industry. They make cakes, they make sweets, all sorts of things with sorbitol. And whenever I tried it, it felt, ugh, there's something wrong about it. So I basically never took any of these things. It just so happens that when you do your research about xylitol, you'll discover a few things. If you have too much of it, you'll get diarrhea, which is your body's way of saying, get this out of me, this is toxic. The other thing I've discovered, and my daughter is an emergency nurse practitioner in the minor injuries unit at Glastonbury Hospital, backs this up. It's well known in the NHS circles. If you have 30 grams or more of xylitol per day, you are going to do serious damage to your heart. So if anyone's taking this as a sweetener in your drinks, or if you're making baked foods with this, I want to suggest to you straight away, stop doing it. It's toxic to you. And I got the final piece in the picture from my Bowen practitioner, who's a vegan, and I spoke to her about the xylitol. She said when she was doing her studies about raw veganism, she discovered that all these sugar alcohols are toxic and not to have any of them. And she said that the other thing that the xylitol actually does, if you swallow food and drinks containing xylitol, guess what it does? It goes into your microbiome and starts killing off your microbiome. So for me, this is the final confirmatory proof positive test that this works. Because if it kills off the bacteria in your microbiome, that's the reason it can actually kill off the bacteria in your mouth. So please don't do what I did. So after a week of washing it in my mouth and swallowing it, you can imagine I started to go to the toilet rather more often. As soon as I stopped doing that, everything's gotten back to normal in that area of life. So I highly recommend, if you've got issues with your teeth, if you want to protect your teeth as a long-term investment in your life, make a xylitol mouthwash, carry it in a bottle wherever you go when you've eaten something, have a good swish. So I was out 2 days ago and someone had a lovely cake in a singing circle. I didn't have my bottle with me, so I didn't get to eat it because I'm really on it with this one. So strongly recommended. And what I want to do, I want to draw a final analogy. This is rather like the way people use chemotherapy to treat cancers. The chemotherapy is meant to kill the cancer cells first because they're much larger and weaker. So the idea of this is I'm confining it to one part of my body, killing off the bacteria which are harmful for my teeth and also my gums, that's a Streptococcus mutans, creating a empty environment, and all the other microbes in my microbiome can rush in there, colonize it, and I'll have a completely new experience with my teeth. And it will mean, if all goes well, I should not ever need to use a hygienist anymore. More bits of information. It seems there's more and more dentists suggesting that all this flossing is not such a good idea after all, and it actually does cause damage to the surface of the enamel. Somehow that didn't surprise me when I read that. So the idea about xylitol, use it for a short time and then don't ever use it again. So just to give you an idea, when I said 30 grams per day causes heart problems, well, 30 grams, that's equivalent to, I say, 5 drinks with a decent teaspoon of the xylitol in. So 5 drinks a day, that's the kind of problems you'd be storing up for yourself. So please, don't swallow xylitol, but use it as a mouthwash. Thank you very much, and this is only part 1, and I'm going to look at the next issue in a future film, which is, okay, you've got rid of the cause of decay, but what do you do? Can you do anything to reverse decay? Can you do anything to rebuild the damage that's been done to the teeth? That'll be for part 2. Thank you very much. All the love to you.